Humans were considered physically unimpressive in the galaxy. Slow, fragile skin, weak musculature, short lifespans. My people, the Vailari, were tall, armored by nature, capable of running up walls and slicing steel with our claws. And yet, I fell in love with one. His name was Elias Carter, a quiet man with warm brown eyes and a smile that could light nebulae. He never boasted, never fought, always listened before speaking, a rarity among warriors of the stars. He worked as a xeno-engineer, rebuilding systems most species considered ancient relics. Many believed I married beneath myself, especially since I was Commander Zhyra, daughter of the great Praetor, but love has never bowed to pride. Beginning. Peace never lasts in space. Our marriage began aboard the Republic cruiser Serapha on a diplomatic mission. We had been traveling for weeks through silent star deserts, those dark voids where ships vanish and only whispers return. Elias and I stole every moment alone that we could. In our private quarters, he'd tinker with broken data pads, warming me with his presence. I'd stretch across the room, my tall frame nearly brushing the ceiling. Humans fascinated me. Their softness, their adaptability, their heart. You always stand guard, he teased one night, tightening a bolt on a scanner board. I am a commander, I replied, eyes narrowing. He smirked. But here, who are you guarding us from? Before I could speak, the alarm screamed, hull breach, unknown vessels boarding, battle stations. Soldiers rushed through the corridor. The lights cut to emergency red, flashing shadows across the steel walls. I roared, claws extending from my knuckles. Stay here. Do not open the door for anyone. Elias grabbed my wrist, his usually soft eyes fierce. We face this together, he said. I won't hide while you fight alone. You're a human, I replied harshly. They will kill you first. And I am your husband, he answered. They'll kill you too if I do nothing. His voice trembled, not from fear, but resolve. I hesitated. That was my mistake. The doors exploded inward. Black-armored monsters stormed the room, their insectoid mandibles clicking. The Khar'Zul marauders, galactic raiders feared even by warriors like me. One pointed at Elias. The human engineer. Take him! Before my claws reached them, a stun blast struck my chest like a thunderbolt. My world plunged into darkness. Middle. The human who was supposed to be weak, I awoke in cold silence. My arms were clamped to a steel frame, my armor stripped, claws restrained. The air smelled like blood and rust. Groans echoed. Many of my crew were suspended nearby. I saw Elias, not bound like us, but standing, his hands free, his head lowered. A tall Khar'Zul captain stalked around him. You are the key, the alien hissed. Humans built the old machine. You will reactivate it for us. Elias said nothing, his breathing slow, steady. The captain lifted my chin with a talon. Vailari female, it sneered. You bonded with prey. You chose a pet over power. How amusing you will die watching him serve us. My blood boiled, but the stun shackles drained my strength. The raiders dragged Elias toward a control deck. He stumbled, or pretended to. The captain laughed and shoved him. You see? It barked to the soldiers. No muscle, no venom. No armor. Pathetic. I watched, helpless, as my husband knelt near ancient circuitry, dust-caked and dormant. The Khar'Zul did not understand. Humans built half the galaxy's forgotten technology. They were relic makers, puzzle masters. Elias pressed his palm to a cracked port. The deck lit up. The marauders roared triumph, but they should have noticed Elias wasn't smiling with them. His voice came calm. You know, humans have a saying. He tapped a final sequence. Far too fast for anyone merely trained. Never corner something that can think. The lights went dark, then blue emergency strobes ignited, and every lock on the crew restraints powered off. I dropped to the floor, claws out. The Khar'Zul screamed confusion, and that's when I saw Elias again, not weak, not prey. His stance lowered, hands curled into fists, and I recognized combat training, Earth military style. He moved like a shadow with purpose. His fist struck a raider's throat, a sound like cracking bone. He spun, seized a rifle, fired 2 shots into another raider's exoshell, exactly between armor plates. He was deadly. This gentle engineer, My husband was a soldier. What? I gasped as I ripped open the neck of another attacker. Elias grabbed a blade and slashed a raider's hamstring, then kicked its knee sideways. "Love," he called to me, breath-controlled. "Did I forget to mention something?" We fought together, his precision and my brute strength seamlessly interlocked. An unstoppable force. Within minutes, the room glittered with the corpses of our enemies. Elias's truth: humans have monsters. 2. When silence finally returned, I grabbed his shoulders. "You lied?" He winced. "I hid a piece of me," he explained quickly. Before he was a xeno-engineer. He was a human special forces operator, but after seeing war rip apart worlds, he deserted the battlefield, turning to healing instead of killing. "He wanted to believe peace could last, and then you chose me," he whispered, "and I swore I'd never let violence touch you again." Emotion surged through me, pride, fear, love. But this wasn't over. The ship still crawled with enemies. We sprinted down the corridors, freeing soldiers as we went. Elias hacked systems, sealed enemy passageways, redirected oxygen, using the ship itself as a weapon. "You were never weak," I said between battles. "No," he replied, grabbing a plasma carbine. "But I tried so hard to be." Climax. The bridge of the Zhyra. The remaining crew made a stand near engineering. We needed control of the ship, or we'd be dead once reinforcements arrived. The Khar'Zul captain waited on the bridge, armored heavier than before. "One little human disrupts us?" It snarled. "I will grind you into paste." Elias stepped forward. "You made the same mistake everyone makes," he said. "You thought humans are easy to break." The captain rushed. I leapt to intercept, but Elias blocked my path. "No, this one's mine." They collided with brutal force. The captain's claws slashed his shoulder. Blood poured. My heart stopped. Elias didn't cry out. He moved like a man who had survived horrors far greater than fear. Dodge, counter, strike. His every motion a lesson in violence. Learned the hard way. He seized the captain's mandibles, twisted, and with a roar, snapped its neck. The monstrous body fell, but so did Elias, collapsing to his knees, blood staining his shirt. I caught him. "You saved us," I whispered. "No," he groaned, gripping my hand. "We saved each other." Ending the human known. Across the stars, when the Republic ships arrived, they found us alive, victorious. Our people now tell stories of my husband, the human who looked ordinary. Until the universe tried to take what he loved, Elias healed, stubborn as ever, and returned to his workshop, insisting he preferred fixing circuits to breaking bones. But I watched the way. Soldiers, even Valari warriors, moved aside when he passed. Respect, awe, fear, and he hated it. "You are more than a weapon," I told him one night. "You are the reason I believe peace might still exist." He kissed my hand gently. "And you are the reason I'm willing to fight when it doesn't." We stand together now, warrior and engineer, predator and protector. My people once mocked me for choosing a human. Now they declare, the deadliest force in the galaxy is a human defending someone they love. And I know one truth above all. My human husband was never weak. He simply chose not to be strong, until the day strength was the only thing that could save us. Peace, even after victory, feels fragile. The Zhyra limped through space, her hull patched crudely after the Khar'Zul attack. My heart had been patched similarly. Elias healed poorly from the wounds he'd earned fighting to protect us all. He had been celebrated by the crew afterward. But admiration pierced him like guilt. One night, as we watched the stars crawl past our window, he spoke softly. "Zhyra, I thought I left that part of me behind." His fingers traced the scar across his ribs. "I didn't want you to see the monster I used to be." I placed my armored palm over his hand. "You are no monster. You are a soldier who chose peace, until war forced your hand." He tried to smile. It flickered, then vanished. "War always comes back," he whispered, and he was right. The Khar'Zul wanted revenge. The Zhyra intercepted a transmission. "Human target located. Honor demands his death." The one called Carter. They were coming. Not for us and for him. I slammed my fist into the briefing table. They threatened the commander's husband. They threatened the commander. But Elias stood calmly, arms crossed, analyzing the data. This interception wasn't meant for us, he said. They wanted us to hear it. A lure, a challenge, a promise. Captain Ralvek, my second in command, growled, "Let us strike first and crush them." Elias shook his head sharply. "The Khar'Zul don't bluff. If we leave orbit, they'll attack colony worlds along the way." My husband, the gentle engineer, was planning like a tactician again. "We prepare for the assault," he decided. "We make them regret ever thinking humans are prey." The crew watched him with a new kind of fear and respect. I touched his arm. "You know they only want you." He looked at me with pain etched deep. "I don't care what they want. They will not touch you." Training for war. The human way, Elias took command of tactical drills. He showed our strongest warriors how to strike joints, disable breathing tubes on exoskeletons, how to turn a raider's forearms into a disadvantage. Our elite Vailari soldiers lost sparring rounds to him. Repeatedly. Captain Ralvek rubbed his aching chest after Elias flipped him to the floor. "How does a soft human bend steel like that?" Elias replied dryly, "It isn't about strength. It's about leverage and commitment." Then his gaze darkened. "You commit to ending a threat, quickly, no wasted motion." No hesitation. I watched the fear in our soldiers' eyes transform into trust. The final assault a week later, a fleet of black Khar'Zul cruisers arrived, dozens of them. Our ship alone couldn't survive a direct fight. But we had a human. "Bring them in close," Elias ordered. "Let them think we're desperate." He stood at the weapons console, hands dancing over controls faster than any engineer on board. He had activated Serapha's dormant ancient systems, relic tech humans once built. Energy surged. Thrusters hummed like beasts waking from slumber. I gripped my command chair. "Elias, what did you do?" He smirked. "Just giving your ship a memory boost." Then he pressed the trigger. The Serapha became a dragonous storm of plasma, and electromagnetic bursts erupted outward, disabling shields and frying sensors across the enemy fleet. Our soldiers boarded the nearest cruiser. The halls flooded with screams and plasma fire as Vailari warriors charged ahead. Elias and I led the frontal assault, partners in battle, bonded by fury. One raider rushed us with blades raised. Elias shot its knee joint, and I crushed its skull. We moved as one, face to face with vengeance. We breached the enemy flagship. Inside, the high talon of the Khar'Zul waited, huge, towering, armored thicker than battleship hull plating. Its voice rumbled through my bones. "You tore my kin from life. We will feast on your bones, human." Elias stepped forward. "If you want me dead, come and take me." The high talon charged, claws like scythes. I shoved Elias aside and took the hit. Steel shrieked as claws ripped into my armor and flesh. I roared but stayed standing. "No!" Elias shouted, and his voice cracked. The sound of terror. He leapt on the creature's back, stabbing deep into the breathing vents with a captured sword. The monster thrashed, throwing him off. It pinned Elias with a crushing foot. Pressing down, claws rising, I lunged forward, even though agony flared in my side. I wrapped my arms around its armored neck and wrenched. The sound of splitting bone echoed through the chamber. The high talon's body collapsed, and I collapsed beside it. Blood poured. My blood. Elias scrambled to me, lifting my head into his lap. His hands shook uncontrollably. No. Stay with me, Zhyra. Don't you dare leave." I tried to speak, but choking blood silenced me. He pressed a patch to my wound. Not enough. Applied pressure. Not enough. His life falling apart in front of him. Tears fell onto my face. "Human. Tears, please," he begged, voice breaking. "You are the reason I'm still alive." I can't lose." I felt his hand clutch mine like he could hold me to existence. Darkness crept in. But then, blue light engulfed us. Elias had activated a portable human nanite medrig, forbidden tech from his soldier days. It swarmed my wound, stitching flesh, sealing arteries, forcing life back into me. "Come on, love," he whispered. "I didn't fight a war to lose you now." Pain surged, then vanished. I gasped, breath roaring back into my lungs. Elias laughed through tears, forehead against mine. "You stubborn warrior, even death can't make you let me go. End of war. Beginning of truth." When the battle ended, the Khar'Zul fleet lay in ruins. The galaxy would whisper of this day. Our soldiers stood around Elias, fists crossed over chests, a salute reserved for legendary heroes. I rested my head against his shoulder. "You are a soldier," I told him softly, "but you're not defined by war." He kissed my brow. "And you are a warrior, but peace deserves a place in your heart." We found balance. Love forged through fire and blood. The human hero of the Vylari months later. A ceremony filled the great hall of Valaris Prime. Elias stood beside me, dressed in ceremonial gold, awkward and blushing as thousands cheered him. My father, the great praetor himself, stepped down from the dais, an honor in itself, and bowed his head to my husband. "Human Elias Carter," he proclaimed, "you do not serve our empire, but you have saved it. We owe you a debt that spans stars." Elias squeezed my hand, whispering, "I only needed to save one person." My heart nearly burst. Our new life Elias returned to engineering, repairing ships, teaching young warriors how to fight smarter. At night, I curled around him, our size differences amusing yet perfect. His skin warm against my armored plates, his breath steady, safe. He still hates the title they gave him, the human who hunted monsters. He prefers husband, and I prefer mine. Across the galaxy, many still mock humans. But those who know what one human did for love now whisper the truth. Humans are the most dangerous beings alive, when they choose to fight. And Elias, my heart, my warrior, is the reason the Khar'Zul fear Earth more than death itself.